All right, let's continue from where we left off. So in the last video, we had meshed the structure. We had meshed the structure, and then we had applied dead loads, live loads, and we were going to also apply some wind load. So you can see the dead loads. Let me turn on the figures of the dead loads. So we applied 0.6 for the finishes, and then -1 kilonewtons per meter squared for the permanent partitions. So we are not going to have the partitions as live loads. We're going to have them as dead loads because they're permanent partitions. And then for the live load, we applied a residential live load of 2 kilonewtons per meter squared. You can see that. And we said that at the staircases, we're supposed to apply 4 kilonewtons per meter squared for residential areas. But for private residential areas where it's your own house, you can go with 2 kilonewtons per meter squared. So I just went with 2. I know this is going to be a multi dwelling place. It's going to have several people living in this place. But let's just go with 2. And but remember, keep in mind that you need to put 4 kilonewtons for the staircases. All right, so now we need to generate the wind loads. So for us to generate the wind loads, it's pretty easy. We come here to the loads, and before we do that, we need to create the claddings or the panels onto which robot will apply the wind load. So let's just do that. Let's apply a panel. Let's just create a cladding. I'll come here to geometry, and I'll click here on cladding, and I will create a rectangular cladding similar to the I'll do just similar to how we were doing the floors. So there we go. That's the first cladding. Then I will rotate this, and I will apply another cladding here. Good thing we have grips, and we can be able to apply a cladding there. So we close, and there we have it. We have a cladding on this side and on this side where the wind is going to be applied. So it's going to be applied in the X direction and the Y direction. As you can see, here we have the Y direction, and here we have the X direction going this side, going to the right, and the Y direction going this way, also to the right, but diagonally, as you can see here. So both of them will be applied on the positive of Y and the positive of X. All right, so now that we've applied the claddings, cladding is dimensionless. It's just a panel that allows for load distribution in robot. It's not actually a structural member. It's just a panel that allows for loads distribution. So now we can apply the wind load. So we come here to the loads, and then we go to wind loads simulation, and then we can go to generate wind loads, and this panel will show up. And depending on your wind direction, you will apply the loads. So for me, I have the wind load come in the direction of Y and X. So I just click here and here. And then for the wind velocity, so these are things that you get from your local manuals and your local weather data. So you can search that in NASA Power and all these other websites just to get a clue of what the wind speed is in your area of interest. So for example, for this, I'll just put a 28. And then for terrain level, I'll just put 0. So anything below 0, what this means is that anything below 0, the wind speed will not be applied. And at the foundation level, we're not really feeling the wind speed. So that's it. And then wind exposure. So all the elements will feel it except at the openings. So if there are any openings at the panels, so you can see openings, panel closed for the wind flow. So any openings at the panels, the elements will not feel the wind load. Then for the load generation, it will be automatic. and then generate a load when load's deviation factor is less than 0.5. So I'll go with 2%. So this means is that when the wind simulation and the load generation from the wind's load, when the simulation is fully generated, when the loads are fully converging, when the deviation factor is less than 2%, we can allow robot to generate the loads. We don't have it to converge all the way to 0%. If it reaches 2%, that's okay. And if you want to do it the manual way, you can click on the manual, but we will just go with the automatic. And then for the wind profile, so here, so drag the graph to set the wind profile along the structure. So you can be allowed to drag this to change the wind profile. So basically how much the wind is harder on this as you go up. So that's the case. So for now, we just leave it as it is, and we start generating the wind load. So let's just generate the wind load. Click on start, and there you go. Robot will generate for you the wind loads automatically, and will stop when the convergence reaches 2%. You can see the loads being generated, and you can see the pressures being distributed, and the parts which are most exposed, you can see that's where we feel the highest pressures. So the loads are generating. As you can see from the convergence process, once it gets to 2%, the loads will be generated. So you can also click on generate loads now, and it will just generate the loads. And there we go. The wind simulation is through, and robot will give you this message that is telling you the wind simulation is completed, and you just click on OK, and you close. And you can even go back to the load tables, and you check your wind loads. So you can see the first 4 or 5. The first 5 are the loads we applied. Robot calculates or factors in self-weight automatically. So there's a place where you have to check the self-weight so as to apply on every member. Then here you can see the 0.6 that we applied for the finishes. Here you can see the partitions, then the nodal forces set to 0, then the live load, and then here are the wind loads simulations. All right. So after that, after calculating the wind loads, so now we go back to view. The next thing is that let me just go back to live load. There's a lot of loads that we're seeing there. So the next thing is, after applying the loads or defining the loads, the next thing is to generate load combinations. So how to do that? You just go to the loads, and then you click to automatic combinations, and here I'll select the manual combinations. So generate manual combinations, and here you'll see 51 combinations have been generated. So we want to remove some of them, and before you even do that, you're supposed to select the code, and here the euro code, the right euro code has been selected. So we do not bother with that. So we just go to more, And here I don't want to select the accidental loads and the fire loads. I want to concern myself with the ultimate limit state and the serviceability limit state loads. So once that is okay, we just go to next. So here are those loads. So we have quite a number of combinations. You can see for live loads and then dead loads. And you can see it's Eurocode because of the load factors. So we just check on all of them. You check on all of them. You can see the SLS and the ULS. And then you generate the load combinations. So there you go. So let me just remove all these loads from here, from the display. And let me run some calculations. So let me see. So we have 26 to 48. So these are the load combinations. So we can do some calculation on all of them. So let's just do some calculations. Yes, I want to continue. Yes, I want to continue. So those are just warnings. They're not really major errors. Overlapping members or beams are not allowed, or columns. So we can check out where that is and then correct that. But that's how we do load combinations. That's how we assign loads into a building. And see you in the next video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe these videos. They motivate us a lot when trying to come up with new ideas to share with you as our viewers. Thank you for listening. See you next time.